is an Unspoiled Network podcast.
This is Unspoiled, covering Penny Dreadful, Season 3, Episode 8, Perpetual Night. In this episode, I thought I had an intro in my head, and now it's gone.
Welcome.
All right, yeah, let's go with that.
Welcome.
Oh, God. Welcome to the show, everybody. I'm Natasha.
I'm Maggie.
And I'm Dan.
Yeah, I'm feeling a little bit of a way because we lost our last episode, so I'm feeling sad about it. And then, you know, just having a little grieving period. And feeling like, what's the point of recording this perfect episode? Because it's not going to be there anyway. Yeah. Even though there's no reason it shouldn't be there.
Because we were mourning it twice. We're mourning it twice, is the thing. Is that we'd already had our, attempt at catharsis for the fact that, we lost half an hour of recording the first time around, and we pulled it together. We finished strong, and then it fucking disappeared again. And now I'm just like, well, fuck everything. The world's awful.
Yep. It was so weird, too, because when I noticed the first time that I hadn't been recording, I pressed record and watched it record because by then I was paranoid. So I know it did, but when I went to find the file, it just simply wasn't there. So, yeah, I don't fucking know.
It kind of sucks because if you had a fucking Audacity or some shit, what's nice about Audacity is that if I accidentally click X, it'll tell me hey, you want to save this shit?
Well, this doesn't, I don't even need to save. All I do is stop the record, press stop, and it automatically saves it to the same folder every time.
I don't trust it. That's like when Word document is like, oh, do you want to open the thing you were working on last? And it's like, nah, bro, that was just me copy and pasting a quick password to remind myself. What the fuck are you doing? And that's the thing. It's a setting that it automatically saves whatever the fuck you're doing. But again, I need to physically look, see everything. It's again, I don't trust robotics. I don't trust AI. I don't trust machines.
I had one where I had to save it, and that one was the one that I always had trouble with. So that's why I was like, this program, and I have a suspicion that it was user error in combination with something, because I feel like the fact that I messed it up in the first place, I think I did something that caused it to not save the way that it was supposed to. But I can't even think what I could have done, because as far as I know, you can't avoid it saving. So anyway, nobody gives a shit. Sorry, guys.
Hi, everybody.
But this is just, it's a sad thing when you feel really good about something that you've done. And I know that happened with Maggie and Owen. They had a really good live crowdcast episode, and the sound was completely fucked. And he was so bummed about it.
It was so funny, Natasha. It was so fun. We were running out of time. And so Owen did a 5-minute wrap up of the entirety of the last 10 issues of the Grant Morrison New X-Men run. And it was hilarious. I was just laughing. And at one point I had to get up and go to the bathroom. I came back and he was still going, and he hadn't even taken a breath. He was just and then in this panel, in this panel, in this panel. It was I was on the floor dying laughing, and then he was like, yeah, it's gone. It's just gone. It's all fucked up.
Maggie, I'm going to posit this to you and also you, the listeners. Do you think fucking Natasha's computer is just against goofs? Or maybe even the internet. Do you think the internet is against our goofs?
Yes. That's clearly what's happening.
I think that it's probably a demon has escaped Penny Dreadful and is like zeroed in on us because we keep talking about it, and it's like, well, who are these people that keep on talking about?
Remember the haunting, the door, the creaky
That's
door?
probably what it was. That
What the
fucking
fuck?
door was somebody coming in and fucking deleting shit. That's what that was. Dun dun dun! Mystery solved.
Well, now that's fucked up.
If you hear your door creaking again, please let me know so that I can save. And
No, if I
cover my
hear
ass.
my fucking like door creak again, I'm gonna run. Like I'm getting my dog and getting the fuck out. This is not a horror movie where like I'm gonna just stick around and be like, no, it's my house. No, fuck it. Go ahead, take this goddamn house. I don't give a shit. Like, go be like it. I'll leave it to the demons. Go the fuck ahead.
I see how all the time I see these like these shows about people who are having these horrible hauntings and they stay, and I'm just like, but why though? Legit, why? Just fucking leave. But I guess that moving's expensive, sure. Anyway, so hi everybody. We're talking about Penny Dreadful. I know you might have lost track by now. So this episode opens up with the same thing that Vanessa said at the end of the last episode. Such is my kiss. And I'm just like, why though? I thought it was a weird way to open it. Am I alone in that? Like, just having her say it and then we have the fog again.
Yeah. Which is very like Moses and the Plagues kind of shit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
To me. Like I'm getting a real vibe off of that. And it's like, oh, okay, Dracula, you're really playing to your roots now, your biblical core, apparently.
Mm-hmm.
Which again, like I remember her talking about, like he has many forms or whatever. He has this human form, and it's like, well, what does he actually look like? I really am curious. Like, kind of, I hope we see what he actually looks like.
Yeah.
It'd be kind of cool if it was like fucking. Remember Van Helsing with Hugh Jackman and shit like that.
God.
And
I didn't see
fucking
that.
Dracula. Okay, well, Dracula turns into like a giant, basically bat, and then he fights Hugh Jackman, who's basically a fucking giant werewolf.
Okay.
And it was
That
really
sounds
physically
delightful.
It's very. Oh my god, we need to do a fucking Van Helsing, please. Like, we need to do a watch of that and like record our thoughts about it because it's like the most campy bullshit ever. It's like pre Penny Dreadful because it includes everyone. Includes werewolves, includes Frankenstein, includes fucking Dracula and all that shit. Like, it's like Penny Dreadful 1.1. So it'd be great if we could do that.
I'm just like, I don't know, the way, I think it's a combination of having her like voiceover starting off just feels a little corny just overall. Yeah. And also how quickly we've jumped ahead in time, apparently. Because, all our dudes are here now. So apparently it's been a bit. Cause
I think it's been 3 days.
Yeah,
perhaps,
the city really went to shit real fast. Yeah, because Caliban's son is like, I don't think he's been there very long because he's still sort of like, being like, talking about very basic, so we could do this, we could do this, we could do this stuff that you'd think he would bring up within the first couple days.
But how is that? Because our dudes were in New Mexico.
Right, but they were on a boat in the last episode.
They were on a boat.
They were on a boat in the last episode, so they were already in the Atlantic.
Okay, I guess that's true.
Yeah,
I was thinking that they were like still traveling to New York. But okay, so we're just kind of playing fast and loose with the time here in general because they got to New York that fast.
Yeah.
Okay. So this starts with these and Such Is My Kiss, and then we go to my personal favorite scene in this episode because this guy who plays Renfield is so good at he's hyper creepy but also still really pathetic.
Yes, like the actor's great. Okay, like I'm sorry that the listeners missed our it was a 30-minute rant about just how Renfield moved around the fucking room that other episode. To recap real quick, he fucking crawls forward and backwards, and it's on his dick. And I still to this day don't quite comprehend it. I watched the scene maybe 25 times trying to comprehend, like, maybe he had a cup on and that could cause some sliding, or like what. But this actor who gets into Renfield is like, he is Renfield. Like, I think he's a method actor or some shit.
It's
because
like he has this like bird-like movement to his head.
Yeah, when he's on the desk and he's kind of like, it almost looked like the Velociraptor scene in Jurassic Park. Like, it had that, like, you know, like that contemplative, like,
considering
thinking.
Just like, hey,
yes.
what's happening, huh? What?
Yeah, because when she whips out the was it the envelope opener? Is that what it's called, or is there an official term for that? Letter opener.
Letter. Oh, okay, yeah. I thought you said envelope. I was like, envelope. What did she get out an envelope for? Okay, letter opener. Gotcha.
Letter opener. Yeah.
So yeah, when she comes in here, his face is quite different, and so I'm like, okay, apparently he's full vampire now.
He's deep in the vampness and sucking off toads, not for highness sakes, but like,
really sounds like he's giving toads blowjobs the way that you said that. He's
at
sucking
this
off
rate,
toads.
how they're coming out of the goddamn drains.
Yep. Yeah, so she walks in and she says, "What are you doing?" And he says, "Hush, please." And he's just sitting there holding a toad and listening. And she shuts it off and he looks up at her with his creepy ass pale eyes and his like the black blood of these toads around his mouth, as we find out, because he's just been chilling and eating them like they're fucking popcorn. And he has decided that he doesn't need to be chill anymore, because why would you? Because there's fog and everybody's dying and the world
and there's
is
frogs
ending.
Coming up out of the sewer and whatnot.
And she uses Dracula's name, which seems to startle him a little bit, because I don't like, it's kind of weird how startled he is by it, because he's been listening to these tapes in which Vanessa clearly says his name. But yeah, she asks where he is, where Vanessa is, and he basically is just, well, I can't tell you. It's so weird. I'm so sorry. Let me eat this toad in front of your face. Ha ha, aren't I scary? And then tells her, when she grabs a letter opener, that she won't have the heart to kill him because that's not who she is. And she says, you should have listened to more of the tapes. And stabs him, unfortunately, in the shoulder, even though there's a perfectly good heart sitting right there. Right there, lady. Just go ahead. Just do it. Why did you not just stab him in the heart? There are times where I get you don't want to kill somebody, where you're just like, oh, something's come over you maybe. Listen, this dude was acting freaky last episode, and now his eyes have changed color and he's eating live frogs. It is time to put a fucking knife in this guy's heart. That's it. Yeah. The end.
Kill this guy.
Ugh.
Natasha and I are firmly team kill this guy on like every podcast we do. Like, why haven't they killed him yet? They should kill him. But just, kill him.
I get people having like some reservations here and there about stuff, but really, logic says there's no going back for this dude at this point. Like, look at him.
He's done. He's toast. That's not Renfield anymore.
No. And he like is strangling her, and she picks up this, what looks to be like a 10-pound marble ashtray, and bashes him in the head with it. And I thought that she just left him. But thankfully we find out later that she takes him prisoner because she is a smart fucking lady. Thank you, lady.
Smart fucking lady. However, I think this is Renfield. Like, I think becoming a vampire doesn't make you like a replaced personality.
I just mean, like, I don't think she owes him severance if she murders him or anything at this point. Like, this is not the guy that she hired. Like, he's gone off the deep end. It's like, okay, bye.
Owes him severance.
I'm not saying that it's like, it's not the lore where it's like, oh, now a demon has taken over his body or anything. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying, like, Yeah, no, your job performance is subpar.
Do I get disability insurance for vampirism? Is that a thing?
No. That's not. If you look through your
it says very clearly in subsection H, part 2,
pre-existing conditions.
Yeah, so
is vampirism a pre-existing condition?
It has to be.
Well, but no, because
it's not. Yeah,
it's the exact opposite of pre-existing. Now, if he loses this job and loses his health insurance and does not get his continuing coverage through Cobra, and then has to find another job, and that other job doesn't offer insurance, and he has to find it on the individual market, then he's fucked.
That's what I thought we were talking about. Okay,
yeah,
so
unless he lives in Massachusetts.
It's that scenario.
Unless he lives in Massachusetts, where he can get a state insurance, which is pretty down and shit.
Right. And this is all based on the idea that Obamacare is about to go out the window, which let's not talk about that, because I've had a rough enough couple days of this.
Yeah, let's not.
Doop-de-doop-de-doo. Let's all pretend we're going to have healthcare.
Good talk. All right, so we go from there to the credits, and then we go to our 3 caballeros pulling into port. Apparently the only dudes on the ship also?
Dos dads, un niño.
Niño, okay, sure.
Hijo, yeah.
Yeah, hijo's son. And I love that they're like, is nobody out except for the one dude that needs to be there to tell them that there's nobody out?
Hanging out on the docks.
Yep. Yeah. He's like, well, this coil of rope really needed to be moved. So I came out, moved that coil, and I'm done for the day.
Apparently, the air is poison, but I got this rope to deal with. Mm-hmm. So
yeah, gotta do what you gotta do, man.
Shallow breathing.
I do wonder if this shit is kind of like remember in Passover, that story where the mist that came down smited all the firstborns or whatever, because we see that this dude clearly is fine, and we see what's her name, Katerina, Katrina, no, what,
Katrina Harkin,
okay, we see Hardigan being fucking fine, and clearly the doctor is also fine. So is it just targeting specific people? Are they supernatural enough? Again, this is my theory that the doctor is actually also supernatural. And
well, then John's entire family would have to be supernatural.
Maybe, or if it is a firstborn thing, I can get why the son's kind of looking fucked right now. But
he's already looking fucked, though. I think it's more likely that it's just it's a question of exposure, how long you're out there. That's what I'm going with.
Yeah, I think that's the most likely, because it's just I don't know, this I have very mixed feelings about the way they're doing this, because a part of me is oh cool, you get to kind of see this whole thing that's been predicted fucking forever since the first episode of the eternal night and the fumes that we can't breathe. So that's cool to see, because usually they like to stop things before we get to this point in stories.
But we don't really get to see it, because we missed the 3 days where it all happened, and we just show up and it's Crazy Town, USA or UK, and we don't really know why. So it's we spent 7 fucking episodes in New Mexico.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
with everybody all split up, and now hey, the gang's all back together, but oh look, everything's already gone to shit.
Yeah, and we only have one more episode.
Mm-hmm.
I'm fucking I'm a little nervous.
Yeah,
because they said that they always planned it to be 3 seasons, and that was it. And I'm kind of are you sure, bro? Are you just saying that for cover? Because, I don't quite know how you're going to wrap up every fucking shit here in another goddamn episode.
Yeah, I feel part of what's fun about the apocalypse is getting to watch everybody realize that the apocalypse is happening.
Right?
Yeah. You want to see the fog's starting to roll in. Find out that people are dying. See how we cope with everybody dying. Like, is there carts rolling around? Like, it's the fucking Black Plague picking up bodies? How
or
come...
have, like, a music montage like Ghostbusters, you know? Like,
right?
come on. Something.
Yeah. Have, like... I want to know if people are, like, the streets are empty. How are people surviving? Literally, how are they eating and getting by? Like, this is the kind of thing where they're kind of just behaving as if the city is now empty of everybody except our main characters and all the villains.
Yeah, because she said at first it was hundreds, and I'm like, in 3 days. In 3 fucking days.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it fucking, like, thousands of people died?
Mm-hmm.
Really? Jesus Christ. Like, why aren't you calling, like, for a fucking panic? Or, like, oh, wait a minute. Your fucking sheriff died in fucking New Mexico. So maybe that's why. Or constable. Whatever the fuck he's called in England or whatever. And, like, I don't know. So they're fucking there. And they brusk in to the fucking house. Kind of like in Kaintane's vision, almost. Mm-hmm. And lo and behold, what's in there is fucking balls to the walls vampires.
All kinds of vamps. And there's also a gutted wolf hanging from the bedroom ceiling.
Yeah, very ominous.
I really want to know what the fuck that is.
It's supposed to be, I think, well, I took it to be fucking Ethan.
I think it's supposed to be like a warning to Ethan.
Yeah. But, like, did she hang that shit and rip its guts open herself?
No, I think it was his vampy dudes.
And
because you know those fucking underlings, even under fucking Vanessa, they're still going to be acting like shit, like little shits that they are. Like,
so
if
this is
Dracula
a warning for Ethan from the minions, not from Vanessa.
I think it's from the minions, not Vanessa. No.
Right, or guided by Dracula without Vanessa's knowledge.
True.
That's
okay.
That seems like the sort of dick move he would pull.
He would,
you know.
Because
like, oh, sweetie, it's nothing. I'm just gonna go to your old house and pick up some of your old things. What, this wolf? I don't know.
Toodaloo.
So weird. Oh, I wonder what that's.
Oh, I totally forgot. I didn't even realize I was still carrying this. My bad. I'll take it back to the butcher shop.
Oh, this was for my house. Oh, they delivered it to the wrong house. I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
I was gonna hang this in my bedroom.
Please.
So, but yeah, he definitely like takes it personally when he sees it. You can see that that's fucking him up a little bit. And there's a woman with her back to Malcolm, and he walks in and he's like, "Oh, Vanessa, thank God." And she whirls around and just goes after him. And I really did want to be like, dude, even if you think it is her body, you have had shit happen before. Maybe wait until she turns around to see what state she's in before you approach her. Because this has gone badly many a time.
Because Kaitane already said she's in trouble. So, like, you guys are going up there,
you
know, expecting trouble, but she's, like, conveniently in the fucking library? No. Yep. Like, that was... I did kind of shake my head at fucking Malcolm being like a dumb dad. He was a dumb dad there.
He was a dumb dad. Like, please don't run in and give her a hug right now. That's maybe not the smartest thing you could be doing.
Because he gets fucking bit.
He does. You bit. You bit.
You got.
Meanwhile, Ethan is getting fucking rushed on 3 sides by vampires who Catriona jumps in and shoots 2 of them in the head. Then her gun jams and he has to wrestle with the 3rd one. And Catriona just like showed up. Like, she was not with them.
That seems suspicious to me.
I don't know what her deal is, but I don't like any of it.
But it felt a little suspicious that somehow like the vampires didn't smell her out, I guess, or whatever. And she slipped in with a big heavy door that just didn't make any sound, you know, not even a creak or anything like that.
And she has like, I was wondering if she's related to Van Helsing or something, because
that'd be cool.
You know, she's got like the whole black coat dealie, and we met him, and then he died, and she says
if she's in any literature, like, because like maybe she's pulled from like a book.
I would be shocked if she wasn't. But yeah, I wouldn't look it up because I'm sure that there's spoilers.
Don't look it up right now because I think that's a spoil. Like, don't do that.
It's a spoiler.
Well, I'm just saying you shouldn't.
If you search her name, I'm sure the first thing.
Like, yeah.
Yeah.
It'd be like in the first episode, if Natasha had been like, "Oh, okay, I'm gonna Google Mina Murray." If you'd Googled Mina, you would have been like, "Oh, okay, so this shit's about Dracula," like immediately, and then there you go.
Okay.
Like this is what it is to be the unspoiled one. Dan is like, now
I can't. I'm not allowed to Google shit.
You cannot. Nope. Now I'm the only one who knows everything, or whatever is left to know in one episode.
You don't even need to Google shit to like get totally spoiled. I had a thing where I was rereading a summary of an episode that I had already watched of another show. And I was rereading the summary to remind myself which episode it was. And in the summary, and they're like, and this character wound up dying later in season 5 due to similar wounds. And I'm like, are you serious? Like, they just fucking blurted it out in the summary of a completely unrelated episode. Just because the injuries that this guy sustained in one episode are like vaguely... they weren't even, but they were trying to act like, foreshadowing. And I'm like, that was a complete coincidence, you goddamn liars. And now you spoiled me for something that was not worth it at all. So yeah, but what I'm saying is spoilers are everywhere and nobody is to be trusted. So that's my stance. Constant vigilance. But yeah, so Malcolm's all like, I got bit. You know what that means. Kill me. Let me kill myself.
Ethan.
I know he was being very like Walking Dead there. Like
it's over. Just kill me now.
What was it? Was it oh my god, what is the White House press secretary's name?
Sean
Spicer. When somebody said Sean Spicer looks like the guy that got bit by a zombie but keeps insisting he wasn't.
Yeah,
Have you seen that meme?
I'm fine. I don't know what you're talking about. Just reminds me of, in Community when that happens, and it's the one guy and he goes, I thought I was special. As he turns into like, you're not special!
Oh, that show's so good.
That might be one of my very favorite episodes. I really love that episode.
So, yeah, she basically picks up this fucking hot poker from the fire, and he looks at her for a second like, are you serious? And she's like, I'm offering to poke you with a hot stick. You were going to shoot yourself in the brain. Why is this worse? Like, just give it a chance, buddy. And she tells him not to try to stay conscious. And
which is a good line. I like that.
It is, right? And yeah, he passes out cold because I kind of thought he might not. But yeah, she says, catch Fiona Hartigan, miss, if you go in for the titles, which I was like, okay, that's not really a title, is it? That's just an honorific.
Now I want to know if she has worked with Van Helsing, because how does she fucking know these tricks?
There's a lot about her that I'm like, you are, maybe she's a time traveler. Her clothes just look so modern.
I know, so modern. I don't get it, but she looks great in them.
She does look great in them.
Her hair looks particularly good in this episode.
Mm-hmm.
I love the lapel on her leather jacket that's like really pointy, and it's sewn with like, I think 5 layers of seam.
4.
Maybe 4. Oh yeah.
5 or 4.
And I love the design of that. And she has a similar like repeating line pattern on her blouse. I wonder if that means something.
I don't know, but like a villain would wear that pointiness because of fangs. Again, I'm not saying she is a vampire, but I am skeptical of her a little bit. I want her to be a good person. I would like her to be.
What if she's the Dracula's like ex, and she's real jealous, and she's
man.
oh, Vanessa, oh, you like Vanessa? Yeah, sure, no. I'll make that happen, and then she just totally is like planning her demise so that she can take her spot. No good.
Maybe no, I can believe it. Like, but also too, like, in my little polyamory is the answer to everything. Like, what if she was like scoping her out to like be like, no, yeah, you could probably date her. I don't know.
I don't
know. There's nothing. We're not given much plot about her. Like,
she just kind of shows up.
She's giving Vanessa way too much information on his weaknesses for me to think that it's like her wanting Vanessa to be with Dracula. So I feel like she's got to be Dracula's enemy, but maybe in just like a different, less selfless way than what we at first thought. If that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we assumed that she was his enemy because, he's a vampire and that's bad. But maybe it's like totally a different reason. Like, he owes me child support and he hasn't paid up in like 200 years. And I'm really getting sick of this. So if you could nail him to the wall for me and find him so that I can track his ass down, that would be great. Thank you so much.
I really love the idea of the final episode of this entire show just being her being like, hey, deadbeat.
Right? Get it?
My money.
Get it? Deadbeat because he's dead.
Bitch, but I have my money.
Oh, that's hilarious. So yeah, she basically tells them, so there are lots of people dead. 7,000 died in London last week. And this brings me to another question where the guy at the dock is all just like, you guys should just go somewhere else. And I'm like, what, is this localized? It's just London? How far does this go? And will it spread? Or is it just, London's now the dark place that nobody goes to, which would be kind of hilarious.
Mm-hmm.
And basically Ethan's just like, well, I'm a wolf, so I can go out and it's fine. He just totally does not listen to her and goes out in it anyway. Mm-hmm. Apparently, he's not wrong because he doesn't seem to be suffering any ill effects by the end of this episode.
Mm-hmm.
But it is a hell of a risk to take. Well, that's what I just said.
Yeah. But he has no reason to believe that's like, there's no proof that would be true at all. He's just like, I'm sort of magic.
He just trusts that that's the thing. When really, how much of a hardship is it to just wrap a scarf around your face, buddy? Like, he's acting like, oh, we can't go through all that. There's no time. I'm like, you literally have, like, a scarf around your neck right now. Just untie that.
Like, lift it. Lift it, like, 3 inches. But it ruins the line of my coat.
I know. Or, no, because his face is the most precious.
It is the most precious, which is why he needs to protect it.
Right?
It is precious cargo.
Oh, God. So he leaves, Kaetenay follows him, and then we go to Lily, and she's in their fucking Mad Men's warehouse. You're gonna like the way you feel. And she's trying her damnedest to play it cool and lure everyone into thinking that she's not, that she's harmless in order to get one last dig. And she says to Dorian, one last kiss for old time's sake. And he just laughs at her and leaves. And I was kind of glad, because if he fell for that, I was going to be real mad about it. Yeah. She really tries to play it cool, and she almost succeeds, but I think he's just got a little bit too much experience behind him to fall for that. If it had been Victor, for example, maybe.
Ooh, again.
Yep.
Fucking Victor. She's not redeemed in this episode. I want to put that forward. He's definitely not redeemed in this episode, even for me.
No,
like, he's not
redeemed. No,
because like he does, quote unquote, set her free.
He oh, really? Does he? That's big of him,
right?
Yeah, exactly.
Like, that doesn't redeem shit. Like, if you let go the person you have captured and tortured, that maybe sort of gets you cleose to being like not the worst person on the planet.
Yeah,
but you know, the writers clearly want us to be like, see, he's not a bad guy. No, he is, because he fucking kidnapped her to get married.
Yeah, he's still a bad guy. He's also just an idiot.
I can't deny, though, his butt does look good in those high-waisted pants.
It
makes me mad.
I think he has no butt. He doesn't have enough of a butt.
But the high waist kind of gives the illusion.
Gives him a butt.
Yeah, because your line has to go down because it's like, where does these pants end? Oh, so you're like, because your eye is forced to travel, you're given the illusion of like, oh, I do have to look longer at this thing.
Okay, let's take a short break and we will be back in just a moment. Unspoiled is a listener-funded network. Support us by becoming a patron at patreon.com/unspoiled and get access to exclusive content and additional bonuses. Or you can shop on Amazon at unspoiledpodcast.com/Amazon.
Moony, wormtail, padfoot, and prongs.
Prongs. What has prongs? All I can think of is a lobster. That's not a good animal to turn into.
And who brought us here, John? The island.
In this episode, an awful lot for a model airplane. What the fuck, Kate? Welcome to Unspoiled, the Constant.
You're the Slayer, and we're like the Slayerettes.
I'm so into this outfit just because I have had enough khaki camel toe with this show for the rest of my life.
When you play the Game of Thrones, you win or you die.
What do his guards do as he is murdered? A, anything. B, nothing. Unspoiled. Experience your favorites again for the first time. Okay, and we're back. The way that she talks to Jekyll is pretty amazing also. Because she makes sure to like poke every little insecurity of his and call him Victor's assistant and, you know, very clearly like reference the fact that he's foreign by being like, oh, you had to cross a couple continents to get somebody who is a shitbag as you are. Like, so I enjoyed that. And then finally she's like, oh, let me see Victor alone, and asks for a glass of water. She's pulling the same thing that she pulled with Dorian. But Victor falls for it a little bit more. Not quite enough.
His fucking pathetic Renfield eyes face thing.
His hand is shaking like he can't even. And she reaches out and grabs the glass and touches his hand, which like undoes him. He looks like he's going to unravel in that moment.
And then finally, like, she can't hold up the facade anymore of holding like this long gaze with him, and it's just like
yep,
and wants to grab him by the wrist or some shit to pull him close, because like, I swear to God, I think we know that she's probably super strong. So like similar to Caliban, or maybe even more stronger than Caliban, because she fucking pushed him back. Remember that time when she was like grinding up all in him?
That's
like that.
Kind of the thing, because like that Caliban just yanks the cell door off its hinges.
Yeah.
So I feel like she should be able to just yank that chain out of the ground. But she doesn't.
Again, yeah, low-key, I also am kind of still baffled at this too. Because like, we already see that she can't get like shot and stabbed and shit like that. And like somehow she doesn't get the great strength or whatever. This feels like an episode of sloppy writing. And like, and it makes me a little bit mad. And so yeah, I don't quite get how the chain fucking prevents her from leaving. Like, because in my head, if she got a hold of fucking Victor and just yanked him by his arm close to her, she would snap his neck.
Oh yeah, he would lose an arm. If she grabbed his arm, that arm would be across the room, and he'd be standing there like, wait, what?
Like, she'd fling him towards her, and she would just grab the arm, and the rest of his body, the momentum would just like his body would just fling off, and he'd hit like the opposite wall, armless.
Oh, it's super gross. So that's the end of that scene with them for now, and then we go to John and his family, and they're sitting around a little dinner table, saying a prayer, and it's just. I just really like to see all of them, like, you know, being a family, just chilling together.
Right, except he's, like, clearly making these, like, wonderful long-term plans for their life, and their son is, like, about to die.
Yeah.
And he's like, I thought maybe we'd move into that house, or we could go, like, to the beach this summer. And he's just like,
right.
Yeah.
Like, okay, I don't know. if any of that's gonna happen, man, it's a nice thought.
And the kid's gruesome with the fucking blood on his face. Like,
yeah.
It looks pretty jacked up because like it's even like has a kind of mucusy quality to it. Mm-hmm. It looks legit, and then it's on his lips and face, and he gives his father this face like sad look of like, I'm a little tired, and John is like staring at his kid who has like a bloody mouth and like a smear on his cheek.
There's a really sad moment too where John's like, I'm sure there'll be a lot of work for me, because his wife is like, well, I don't want to move too far away from the factory. And he's like, oh, you're not going to work here anymore. I'll be able to find a job easy because everybody's dead. So
yeah,
he's like, so I'll get a job. And then he says I could work at the mill or something. And then he says, or at the graveyard. And she looks at him and then looks at their son. And then he seems to realize what he just said. And he like pipes down for a second. So there's like this moment where I was like, oh God, okay. But then he keeps talking like he has to be positive for the sake of his son. And, we'll go to the gardens every day and there'll be this whole thing. It's just like, I just can't imagine when you're a parent and you have to pretend that things are going to be fine, even though you're watching your child just waste away before your eyes. Like, this poor kid is so used to dealing with coughing up copious amounts of blood that he doesn't even he just, oh, look at that. Well, I feel like I want to lie down.
My napkin. Yeah.
Yeah. It's just, brother. This actor for this little boy, he really does I am sad and exhausted without it being overplayed and being like, oh God, kid, okay. You're super sad and pathetic. We get it. Like, he's super sad and pathetic because it feels like he isn't trying to be super sad and pathetic.
Mm-hmm. It's like Tiny Tim on steroids.
Mm-hmm. Or without steroids.
Without steroids.
Mm-hmm.
Steroids would probably help with his lungs a little bit.
Right.
Because I think legit maybe it was asthma. I don't think it was full TB. I think this is the miasma because he coughed a little bit of blood before. But not all TB was fatal, I don't believe.
No, my mom had TB.
What? Really?
Yeah, she didn't find out until she was an adult.
My mom never
lung X-ray, and they were like, "Oh, you had tuberculosis. There's scarring all over your lungs." Mm-hmm. And she's like, "Huh, neat,
yeah. Right?"
Because I think maybe he just had because I know some people with TB who had asthma afterward.
Yeah, that's what happened to me. Because I had the same thing as Maggie's mom, where I thought it was just pneumonia, and it turned out later I found out that it had been tuberculosis, and I had to do one of those lung tests where you breathe into a tube to push up one of those things, and the doctor kept being like, "You can do it harder than that." I was like, "I swear I can't. I'm not kidding. I'm trying as hard as I can." And he just kind of gave me this look like, "Well, that's no good." I was like, okay.
It's kind of weird that we don't have the TB, we don't do the TB vaccine. I know there is a TB vaccine, but we don't do it here.
I got a TB vaccine.
I'm pretty sure I got one too, because I didn't get this until I was 19 or 20. I was when I actually got it, and it was a developed thing from, I think I started off with bronchitis, and then it was pneumonia, and then
my mom got the TB vaccine, so sometimes on a TB test I show up positive, but I'm not. And that's because it's a side effect of the TB vaccine apparently. And she briefly tried to breastfeed me. She couldn't because she had an inverted nipple, so she was like, "Fuck that." But it was just enough of the shit to pass it on to me, and so sometimes I show up positive.
Right. Well, because you have the antibodies.
Yeah. Because breast milk has that. I know. I say yeah.
That's good
really
shit.
Weird.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's go to Dorian showing up at his house and telling all these chicks to fucking bounce.
No, can we just skip this motherfucker? Because I can't stand him. I can't stand his face. I can't stand him. His thing.
I cannot skip this because of my distinct disappointment with
Justine.
It's not even like I can fault. I feel like the show did what it had to do here.
Yeah.
Justine magically finding his portrait and being able to like do whatever. As much as I desperately wanted that to be how this went down, it was just so unlikely. She's way too busy out taking guys' hands off to be looking around this house for a magical portrait. Why would she think to look for something like that? She's never seen him die. She doesn't know he can just come back.
Yeah. She doesn't know. She like because they all looked really shocked when he gets stabbed. Like, and is like totally okay, non-pulsed. Is that how you say it?
No.
Nonplussed. Nonpulsed. She was dead.
But nonpulsed also probably kind of works in this situation.
Okay, see, in my head I said nonplussed, and I was like, wait, Dan, that's not a word.
Nonplussed is one of those words that I see people misuse so often.
Yeah.
Like,
did I use it correctly?
Yeah, because
oh my god,
like,
wow,
basically it means just like you're shocked. But I see people talk about nonplussed being like you're or it means either like shocked and confused. Usually is what it means. But I've seen a couple people use it in these weird ways where it just means like you don't know what the hell's going on, like just that you're ignorant, and that's not really quite right.
No.
But yeah, nonplussed is the word as she stabs him in the heart, and then she basically tells him, because he's like, oh yeah, you're just gonna, go back out there and live your stupid little life. And
die.
She's like, I can't live like that. And he says, you'd be surprised what one can live with. And I'm like, how the fuck would you know?
Exactly.
All you mean when you say that is that you can live with the things you've done to other people, you piece of shit. You do not know what it's like to have those things done to you because you're just the guy that has everything always forever. Shut up.
He might have known at one point, and then maybe part of his lizard brain still sort of remembers what that was like before he totally lost any ability to feel things. So you know what I mean? Like him sort of being like, well, at a certain point, you learn to live with, lack of affect or ever having any love in your life. And I'm like, yeah, but she's not talking about that. She's talking about learning to live with being raped by Johns constantly and then murdered in a snuff show. Yeah. So that's kind of different from whatever wooby bullshit you had to deal with.
Emo little bullshit that you had to deal with. Because, like, another thing like, of showing his privilege is he's like, you can take anything you like here in this house because he's so fucking rich, he can just buy everything back again. And then like he's like, yes, go, and they scatter and fucking Justine. It's interesting because there's a parallel because her and Lily say basically the same thing, except Lily says it to Victor, where like I'd rather die than like be whatever the fuck you're trying to tell me to be.
Right.
And
it just bums me out so much.
It does.
It has to be Dorian that kills her. I wish that she had just stabbed herself in the heart or something.
Yeah. Like, had like her own agency. Because again, I feel like her agency
letting him do it. Yeah.
Yeah, and not only letting him do it, but like they kiss before he does it. Yeah, it's just like, don't. You are so gross. She completely nailed who you are when she said, so charming, aren't you? All charm and nothing but. Yeah, she was right. And the fact that you're trying to be tender with her as if you give any shits in this last moment, just, it felt really disgusting. And I just wanted, like, so when I say I think the show did what they had to do, I mean, there was no choice. Justine had to die. But I think they could have given her a better death. I would have been happy with her trying to kill him more than once and him killing her in the heat of the moment, Give her something to go out on that feels like she hasn't just given up and given up to an abusive dude. Like in the end. So
it feels like really sloppy, weird, eroticizing writing. Again, like I was really upset. I really would have liked Dorian to get his comeuppance because I think in the book that's what fucking happens, isn't it? Like he does get his comeuppance or whatever, or he like
I don't even know. I never read it.
Gets trapped.
I never finished Picture of Dorian.
I never finished it. Yeah, either because I got fucking bored.
Well, you know what? It's boring to be Dorian Gray. It's boring to read Dorian Gray.
Yeah.
If there hadn't been just one episode remaining, I would have been hopeful that Victor could bring Justine back. And that then we would have Lily and Justine as like these undead fucking misandrists, which would have been amazing.
Nice.
Oh, the gifts we could have.
Undead Misandrists is a really good band name.
Yeah.
Can we do that?
Yeah. Yes.
Go on stage with a like zombie makeup on or something. So then we have.
Can I talk about the next scene? Because there's something specifically I want to mention.
Okay.
So we cut to now. Ethan is running up the steps to go to Victor's apartment, and he's like, "Victor, blah blah blah, knock knock." And then who do we see on the stairwell? Is a tiny child with blonde hair, and but like in all the episodes we've seen, the thing you need to watch out for is blonde children or teens that are pale and blonde. And fucking Ethan, because the kid's like, "Oh, the sir's not here," and but I can take you to him, and like Ethan's like goes willingly.
Yeah, when Ethan's like, "Oh, sure, sweet little boy, you look healthy,
right?
Yeah, I'll follow you.
Yeah, I'll follow you in this fog that's supposed to kill everything, and you're supposed to be cool with that." Like, oh, sorry,
Ooh.
There's a random motorcycle, who was very speeding on a residential street. Sorry about that. Yeah, like that's what I specifically wanted to say. I really wanted to call out, like, again, Ethan, really? Like, how many blonde children have we seen that was not down?
Any child who is out in this unaccompanied with giant purple circles under their eyes, and
what are you doing?
Obviously, we've seen this type before, dude, a couple times.
How does he know where the fucking doctor went?
Right?
If you've been sitting there all day, little kid, at the stairwell.
And he does the, like, what are you doing out on this dire night,
Yeah.
What is it with the fucking vampires repeating themselves? Is that, like, a thing?
Maybe they're, like, twitchy and, like...
Because earlier we had, obviously, like, we'll be right as rain. Yes, I will. But then he also does the, like, they sup on the flesh and the blood and the blood. Yeah. I'm like, dude, you need to fucking calm down.
He's fucking, and then, like, fucking Ethan follows him. And then we cut to, the dads. Well, one dad.
Yeah. And I didn't like this because... there's just way too much leering happening from Malcolm to Catriona.
Yeah.
I totally get it, dude. She's super hot. She's very capable.
Yeah.
She's pretty much exactly your type. But no, just don't. Nope.
Like, stop squinting.
You're
supposed to have squint-offs with your son, not, like, leering at this very attractive lady who, again, we don't know who the fuck she is. Yeah, really.
I'm just going to say, though, I enjoy looking at both of these people, and I like looking at T-Daltz when he's all squinty, so I'm okay with it.
Yeah, no, I get it. I want to fuck them too. Like, I get it.
I don't think he should be doing it. I'm just personally enjoying it.
like
not on a character level, just on a totally superficial level. I'm like, all right.
I'm not attracted to women, but I would like to watch them fuck.
Oh, yeah.
That's something I'm down
my
for.
thing is that I feel like she is so... badass that I don't want her to, like, be treated this way in general, you know what I mean? Like, I just don't, guys. She's like way too good for any of you. Just pretend she's not even a woman.
I like that he at least is appreciative of how badass she is. Mm-hmm. He's not just like, oh, she's hot. He's like, she's hot and oh shit, she's smart and good at stuff and
burn my neck real good. Love that. Love a woman who burns my neck real good.
She says sit, and he fucking sits.
Well,
and I think he was a little turned on with that.
She says sit, and then has to have a 5-minute conversation about why he should sit. So not really. Yeah. She has to remind him about how dumb he is for immediately resisting a simple command of sit because he just I don't have to. Oh, why? Oh, just because you just said so. I don't have to do what you say.
So
Dude, come on.
TBH, like, she did this sneak into his fucking house, like, all willy-nilly.
But also, like, saved all their lives, pretty much.
Yeah, he did. He did. I mean, she did. But speaking of guests, again, fucking the doctor comes.
Yeah.
Which,
I like this, too, that she
Me
just
too.
walks up. She's like, I want to see Vanessa Ives. You must be Malcolm. I'm coming in now. Like, she just does not give any shits.
I'm not at liberty to discuss. And then he's like, you best have the liberty to discuss. No. Like,
yeah,
it's
she
like,
does
literally
that.
just no.
She does that. You must be Malcolm Murray, and then she looks at the woman. I don't know, and walks
Exactly.
right in.
I
Okay,
love how she commands the room. Like,
That feels like a Patty LuPone ad lib, right?
Oh,
a
it
little
does.
bit.
It felt like Patty LuPone talking. You saw the
Oh,
video
yes.
the other day, right? That we posted.
She's just like,
Yeah.
the script doesn't say that I acknowledge her, but I feel like I should, so I'm just gonna say that I don't know who the
Say,
fuck she is.
I don't know who the fuck you are. I don't know you, bitch.
yeah. I think she one-ups Kat just a bit in terms of badassery. Like, to be honest, okay, like, on my ranking of who's a badass, the doctor's kind of up there.
I feel like
I
the
love
doctor behaves less like she has something to prove than Kat does.
Yeah, because honestly, Kat, sometimes that's another thing too. Why I'm kind of suspicious is like she acts way too hard
Yeah,
on
she's a
being
little bit of a
friendly with Vanessa. Like, especially when she's being like way too friendly, and I'm like, Vanessa, like, goddamn, I know you're lonely, but stop being so goddamn trusting. But-
Yeah, so she walks in and she's basically like, yeah, so Vanessa really needs our help because she's probably been captured by Dracula, so we're going to find her, and that's what's happening now. And they're like, well, okay. And then we go to the scene with Lily. This is some acting. Why is she so fucking good in this show? Ugh.
Yeah,
I
she is.
Need her to have her own spin-off. And
Of just Lily, or just
Yeah.
like have her own show.
well, that's what I mean, like a spin-off show,
Oh.
like Lily's got her own show, yeah. And yeah, she says, because he's trying to suggest that he's doing something to help her, and she, again, you're going to make me a non-person. You're going to take away everything that makes me who I am. And then he tries to be like, oh, well, I gave you life. And she says, you made me as an offering so that you wouldn't be killed. I was made because you're a fucking coward and you were willing to hand off what you think is a masterpiece to somebody to save your own miserable skin. And now you're trying to act like you did me some fucking favor. And
Like having me in your attic and shit like
yeah.
that.
And I love that she adds, and even after all that, the monster that you made that you were going to give me to still is more human than you are. And she says, you created life, so let it live. And monstrous I may be in your eyes, a savage beast you say, well, so be it. I'm the sum part of one woman's days. And I've known pain, and there are some scars that you can't get rid of. There are some things that can't heal. And this is when she finally takes the drastic measure of telling him something really personal that she hasn't told anybody. Okay, so I had theorized last episode, which nobody got to hear because... Actually, I guess that's the one thing everybody got to hear because it was the opening, is her at the graveyard.
Oh, yeah.
My theory was that she had had an abortion, and that was what the grave was. And that was maybe why she never talked about it. It makes total sense now that she didn't talk about it because she feels like she is responsible for her daughter's death, which she is, but that's just such a heartless way to say that. And this really made me think of people who try and say that women should not have reproductive and abortion rights and then are forced to tell their story in order to get somebody to understand why this is a necessary thing. But they should not have to. They should not be put in this position where they have to tell anybody anything because people should just mind their own fucking business. But you feel compelled to justify yourself because this person does not seem to have compassion in any way unless they are given a very specific story to personally relate to.
Mm-hmm.
And so she tells him this private story that she hasn't told anybody because it's the one thing that she has left, the one card to play, to hope that maybe this makes her look like a human being to him. Maybe. Possibly. And
it's like how you tell a serial killer that you have a little brother named Steve to like make yourself look human.
Why did you say the name Martha? What does that mean?
Martha too. Okay. Yeah.
But
so,
can someone explain it? Because I'm watching it again with the captions now.
Mm-hmm.
And I still don't quite fully understand what happened. So
what happened was she has to go out and whore, and she doesn't have anybody helping her take care of her baby. So she builds the fire up really high and leaves the baby near the fireplace because she's only going to be out for an hour or so.
Yeah.
She goes out, gets beaten up. She's knocked unconscious, wakes up, and it's been hours and it's snowed. And the fire died, and the baby froze to death.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
And this guy beat her up, didn't want to pay.
Yeah.
And she says, I have been hit before. I know how to take a hit. It's not new to me, but this guy
That's why she was
really
screaming
knew how to
how
hit.
she could have just gotten up. Yeah.
Yeah. That part where she's just, all I had to do was just get up, get fucking up. And I was like, oh, God, that is the worst, because we all have one memory of something where looking back, we're like, why didn't I just do the thing? I should have just done the thing. And we just, there in the moment, either we couldn't, we didn't know enough to know that that was something we could have done, or we were paralyzed with fear, or a combination of all these things, or God knows what. But you still have that memory of just your, it's all being filtered through this lens of what you know now. And it's so hard to put yourself back into it and not blame yourself. Like, how could I let this happen? And the way that she tells this story and just like completely curls in on herself and has to, that she has to do this to get him to hear her. And she has to tell him her name was Sarah. Please don't take her away from me. And she has to beg him. It's so humiliating, and it's so not what she should have to do. She like the fact that you made her, I hate you so much, Victor. I hate you so much. That you made her expose this part of herself to you for the simple act of you not completely obliterating her as a person. Like, ew, 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 ew.
And so one thing too, he comes up to her and looks like he's going to do it. And he has a fucking syringe that has a little bit too much air in it for my satisfaction. Yeah. Like, come on, dude.
Yep.
And then he just puts it down, and then he unlocks her, and she like grabs his throat, and I was like, yes. And then like she fucking kisses him. Like, God damn it. Again.
I know.
Shitty writing. And just like, and then she runs off.
I really just wanted her. Like, I get why she doesn't, because he like just said, let us be human beings. And so I think that affected her, and she's trying to be like, all right. I'm going to try and be human. All right. Sure. But I really wish that she didn't. I wish that she had just gone ahead and done it.
You know what's curious now? Because I've been watching now I'm watching this as we're recording, and I'm already on to the next scene. And now I have new theories about the fog.
Okay.
I don't think the fog's actually killing anyone. I think it's the fucking vampires that are killing everyone. Because
you see them in the fog.
Yeah, because so the little creepy fucking kid, again, do not trust any small, medium, large kids who are very pasty white and very blonde. just go away. Just walk away if you see them. He goes, the night creatures have been feeding, and there's like a bunch of carcasses around. Some of them are animals. And so like he said that, and I was like, huh. So there's all this like carnage that's just like willy-nilly about in this red light district. And or Chinatown. Or both.
Yeah.
I just call it the red light. Yeah, there's a lot of red lanterns around, so that's why I call it the red light district. But like, yeah, I don't know. I think maybe they've been dying because the vampires have just been out and about, and they can obviously go out and about in the fog and like hunt easier. I don't think it's a miasma.
I would agree with you, except these vampires do not seem to be neat with the killing.
That's true.
You know, like I feel like that'd be a hard thing to mistake. They just tear into people. In the first episode of the show ever from season 1, there's just like piles of body parts in that like
that's true.
You know, like and
remember when Ethan thought it was him and it wasn't.
Yeah, right. And when this kid's leading Ethan into this area, there are bodies with their guts laying out in the street. Like, so I feel like people can tell the difference. Oh, and a horse with its guts.
I know
out. That was another fucking Walking
Dead deal. Was it a horse or a donkey? It looked kind of donkey-like. I don't know.
But yeah,
I wouldn't be too surprised.
It was quite dramatic.
It was. And you know what? It is a kind of red light district because the fucking Renfield says he's like.
There's literally red lights hanging everywhere.
Yeah, and also he went there to go with prostitutes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
This scene again is why I think the doctor is fucking like supernatural a little bit.
This scene?
Not this scene. I mean, like, not with Ethan. No, sorry, I was already thinking ahead.
So yeah, Ethan's like, you know, getting led by this kid because he's dumb, and the kid vanishes because of course he does. And Ethan's looking around, and she's like, what, and pulls his guns out. Yeah. And then Dracula's there, surprise, and Ethan like knows instantly that this is Dracula, which I thought was a little odd. Like
maybe because he can smell it. I don't know, werewolf senses.
I just would have liked if there was a like moment of confirmation instead of him just being like, "Where is she?" Like just being like, "Oh, are you Dracula? Is that you, buddy?" But yeah, he just goes to "Where is she?" And Dracula says she's happy, which if you really loved her, that would be enough for you. And then they start to get into a fight because he lifts his gun and Dracula grabs him by the throat and lifts him clear off the ground because that's his favorite move. That's his power move, is to just hold somebody up by the throat. And there's this weird moment because Ethan's like being held by the throat and he looks up at the moon. And
you're skipping ahead. So you want to do the whole fight thing?
Well, he's looking up at the moon while he's being held. What do you mean? What am I skipping?
So Ethan gets pushed back by Dracula in a force punch kind of thing, and then we cut to.
That hasn't happened yet.
No, I'm watching it right now. He gets pushed back, and then immediately cuts to. They just have like a weird little confrontation speak, and Ethan doesn't get his gun out at all. He just gets a force punch and it lands in a wagon, and then it cuts immediately to the talk with about Renfield and Bedlam.
That's not. I'm in a different scene.
Okay, so you want to just do the whole fight scene because I wouldn't mind doing that.
Well, I had a question though that I want because he looks up. He's being held by the throat, and he's looking up at the moon as it's coming out from behind a cloud, and he doesn't transform here. He just looks at it, and we as the audience, I think, are supposed to be like, "Oh shit!" But it's weird to me that it's not just like, "Oh, the moon is full, so I'm a wolf." It seems to be. The moon is full, but there's a cloud in front of it, so hold on. Wait for this cloud. Oh, just give me one more second. Okay. Oh shit, another cloud. Okay, hold on.
Didn't you theorize before that maybe he has to look at the moon? Or was that Maggie or some shit like that? Because I remember we talked about that, something similar, when he again, like when because he always looks at the fucking moon before he fucking transforms.
And maybe that is part of it.
Maybe.
Like, because
you have to acknowledge the moon in a way.
But you'd think that because he does look straight at it in that moment, that would start it off, right? Yeah. But it doesn't. He just stares at it. We get this little moment of like, oh shit. He gets put back down, and then he and Dracula continue on with their conversation for another couple minutes, and then Dracula punches him into that cart. And it still hasn't happened yet. He still hasn't transformed by now. So I'm just like, well, what has to happen for this to begin? Because when Kaetenay comes out, that shit, he just like initiates as if he has complete control over it.
Maybe he does.
Maybe he does.
Maybe that's part of True Dad's powers, because he is the one true dad. Because guess what? Kaetenay is a werewolf.
I wish that we had a little bit more information about what the difference is between the way they can control this, because it's clearly very different between the two of them. I think. I don't know.
I think so, because like, one, Kaetenay is old. Two, I think, and like, is it confirmed in this? Like, I think fucking Kaetenay turned Ethan.
That's what I kind of like. I think I had said that was like what I thought Kaetenay had punished him with.
Yeah,
but it doesn't
and that's
seem
maybe why
like
Ethan's so mad.
Yeah, maybe. Like, I'm just like not sure if he could have, or if it was an accident or what. But yeah, it seemed. I'm wondering if like the whole group that wound up being really awful and murdered Ethan's family, if
we're all yeah, that would make sense if they were all werewolves. And a patchy band of werewolves would fuck shit up.
Yeah,
that's for certain.
Not something like, I want to come across. I'll just say that.
No, because like that's probably why they were like, but also they got picked off really easily. So again, werewolves do have maybe silver bullets. I don't know. There's a lot of questions. This fucking writing is leaving a lot of holes, and we only have one more episode. Yeah, I want all those holes filled.
That's
and I know that sounds really dramatic. Yeah, I know, but I'm not trying to. But I want those plot holes. These plot holes, specific plot. I want them filled. I want. So like, maybe, I don't know. Like maybe Kaetenay. Again, that's why he's the true dad. Because he's the one dude. He's the dad who made him the werewolf, and Ethan is. It is kind of cool seeing them wolf out and like. Yeah. Fucking like battle side to side to each other. I didn't know if maybe he like they did do a cheap shot, which I kind of was disappointed with on how they show his transformation. Mm-hmm. A bunch of vampires hop on him and then it's a very Angel scene, if you will, where like all of a sudden he just pops up and throws all the vampires off of him and he's like wolfed out. Mm-hmm. But it seemed very Angel like to me. But Kaetenay's transformation was CGI, and he's just walking along. Yeah. And he's like fucking badass. And his hair gets longer, which is kind of funny.
Yeah, I was excited to see a long-haired werewolf because he just looks ragged. There's something about him. It's just like, man, you need to get some sleep or something.
I know, he looks an old man. He's an old man werewolf.
But I do like the one thing, because I like that they're both werewolves. I like this reveal. It felt a little hokey the way they did it. But the one thing I really liked was the kid that led Ethan seeing that, oh, there's two of them. You know what? I gotta go.
He fucking ducks out.
I just remembered this thing that I have that I need. Sorry, guys, I got bail. So that was kind of amusing to me.
That was super amusing.
So let's go to the basement that the fucking doctor's keeping Creepster in. Yeah. Who he is really liking to think that he's like super intimidating. And Catriona is not having it. Because he gets all up in her face, don't I scare you? And she just grabs him by the throat and tells him, I whistle away haunts like you before breakfast, love. And I love when she does that. Malcolm looks over at the doctor like He's literally looking at her like, I know you've got a boner. I have one too.
I have one.
It's just completely like, I know, right? Look at this. Look at this.
Really funny.
And she's just like looking back at him like, well, this, I guess I came to the right people. Like, all right then, this is how this is going to be.
Again, cementing the idea that maybe she worked with Van Helsing because, like, you know, she's probably killed a lot of Redfields.
She says, like, you know, she had said earlier to Vanessa, I was basically born with a claymore in my hand. Is a claymore a particular...
Claymore is a giant...
I know what it is, but, like, is that something that Van Helsing used? Like, was that a particular weapon of his? I think he just used stakes and whatnot, right? Yeah.
No, he just used stakes. He's a little,
is she the Highlander?
That's what I'm wondering. Like, what if she, like, you know, okay, you know how you said she was a time traveler? What if she's not? What if she's immortal? What if she was from fucking, like, Joan of Arc days and was just like, I don't know, maybe she is the Highlander.
I would love it if she was the Highlander. That would be hilarious. Why not? Sure, let's go with that. That's my canon for right now.
I want to know who she is. I want to know a quick, just a tiny snippet. Like, just telling us that she knows shit about Dracula doesn't tell me anything. I just watched the scene again, and fucking when Malcolm looks over and he's like, "You're hard, aren't you?" Like,
yep.
It really does. He does. He has that squint. Who's like, "I'm kind of hard right now." Like, again, my OTP is Kaitane and Malcolm, but I think they have an open relationship,
right?
Because I think Kaitane would be like, "Well, no, sure, you can go with that white woman. I don't care."
I really like. I mean, she is basically. She's got a very similar vibe, the Doctor, to Evelyn Poole, so I could definitely see them getting down together. Mm-hmm. She's much more no nonsense because she wouldn't like stroke his ego the same way, but Evelyn really only seemed to be doing that for the sake of the, you know, grift. So I don't know how much that was real. But yeah, that's the end of the episode. Basically, is you know, fight scene and then oh shit, and that's
IT werewolves.
Yeah, lots of werewolves. Werewolves everywhere.
Do they have a werewolf fight, or is it okay? Do they? I would imagine. Being like he's the daddy werewolf. I think his wolf would know that's the daddy werewolf, or are they gonna do like a pissing contest?
I don't think so because they like go face to face for a second and stare at each other, and then they go back to fighting the vampire. So I'm pretty sure it was just to like, oh, I was about to kill you until I realized we're on the same side. My bad. Okay, back to work.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, no, the very end scene before credits is like the fucking they yell at each other's face basically. And so I'm like, oh, I hope they're not like he's gonna yell. I hope I don't know. I just don't want him to fight. I want, you know, Big Papa Werewolf to come in and save the day, just a wee bit, and yeah.
Yeah, I don't think that they're gonna fight. I think that was just them acknowledging each other.
Acknowledging their wolves.
Yeah, exactly. Just being like, okay, you're not a vampire. You passed the smell test. Okay, moving on.
Yeah,
you know?
Kaitane's ears look way different than Ethan's.
Mm-hmm. Kaitane, like Ethan, just looks like he almost has a bit of a. And I'm sorry, guys, but I'm going to say it. He has a little bit of a Jim Carrey and the Grinch look. Wow. Yeah. Kaitane just looks like he's about 100 years older. Like he looks wolfy, but he also looks like shit. Like
he looks like one of the original Apache. Like right? that's how fucking like how old he looks like. Maybe that's what it is. I don't know. Because like in some werewolf genres of the kind of the romantic Harlequin type things. Shut up. I know. Sorry.
I read so many like vampire-y, pulpy things in high school. That's fine.
There's always a Native American one. And it's always some sort of like origin story for their tribe or some shit. So I don't know if like, because we saw Coyote and all that shit and like what their version of the origin story was, which we already discussed was false. I wouldn't be like, maybe he's one of the original werewolves. I don't know. Maybe he's old as fuck, and that's why he's again the last free Apache. I don't know. Like, he started off a free Apache, and he's always going to be a free Apache. I don't know. Wait, does he die?
So, yes.
Now I'm concerned.
The end. End of show.
No, I'm concerned. Well, of course it's the end of the show. It's the last episode next week, but I'm still like, I'm concerned now because it's like, now I can just picture him saying, you know, like, I was born a free Apache. I'm going to die a free Apache. I'm fucking concerned now. Because, you know, that's the thing. Like, I write, so I know what, like, I can see sometimes some trails that some people are like gonna follow through on. Like, I knew the plot to Batman, like the Christian Bale one. The first is Batman Begins. Yeah. I figured out the plot as soon as they fucking introduced the goddamn weapon. I was like, oh, I know what he's gonna do with it, man. Because like, because it's like, again, I can follow the breadcrumbs. So I'm fucking hoping I'm wrong with this breadcrumb.
I mean, I cannot comment on the state of any breadcrumbs.
God damn it! I don't like that.
Just go watch it. You can just get off here and go watch it immediately and find out. Like, literally, you are now free to do that.
I am free to do that, but now I'm gonna be sad because, like, you know, it's over.
Yeah, like I'm really kind of shocked that there's one episode left and that there's this much still, like, there are this many balls in the air right now. I don't know what they're gonna do, but we'll see.
I secretly want those balls, but I also simultaneously am worried that, like, I'm not. I want you to know, like
are you filling any holes, Dan? Or what kind of balls are we talking about? What's happening?
80% of the time, I'm not looking to sound dirty, but I accidentally do, and I just go with it because I realize what I just said, and I'm just gonna. No, I want to catch those balls, and I want to plug up some holes with those balls, and fucking
just horribly uncomfortable.
And Benoit balls? I don't know. It's very 50 Shades of Grey.
All right. Let's wrap this up. Let's wrap this fucking mess up. So, I want to say hi to new patrons real quick. And I'm going to include patrons that I said their name last week because that's gone. Bill Stokes, Megan George, Julie Thompson, Samuel Burrell, Deandra, A.F. Tanfasi, Renee Pope Monroe, Dawn Smith, Ryan Sugas, Rosalie Oceana Kolb, Deandra, A.F. Tanith, and... Oh, wait. I think I said that one.
Yeah.
I doubled up on two of the names. My bad. But hi, guys. Welcome to all of you. Hi. Thank you so much for becoming patrons. If you're interested in becoming a patron, check out patreon.com/unspoiled. I'm going to be taking a vacation next week, so we will not be covering the finale until the week after. And after we're done with the finale, there's going to be a little bit of a break, and then I'm going to be covering Game of Thrones again with Anton and Miles, as I did last year. And that will be for patrons only. So that's what's going to be taking the Monday night recording spot after that. Which I had thought this coming season of Game of Thrones was the last one. I don't know where I got that. I think it's because it's a shorter season that I kind of conflated those things in my head. But yeah.
Or maybe you got high.
Maybe. It's probably what it was. Maybe it was just wishful thinking because I was like, I really don't want to do this anymore. But I'm just feeling like so burnt out on that show still from season 5. That, like, even though the last season was so much better and I had so much more fun covering it, I still am, like, really nursing some injuries. So hopefully this coming season, them cutting it shorter and, you know, things starting to get into the territory that a lot of us don't know what's going to happen, will keep it fresh. But I'm real worried about, you know, the sand snakes and whatnot, because them not being around was what made season 6 so great. And I don't think that they can keep that up. I think now they have to be brought into the story. So yikes. And after we're done with Game of Thrones, for all listeners, not just patrons, we will be doing the last season of Leftovers. And then in the new year, Rashawn and I are going to begin Westworld. So, yeah. So, there's a lot going on, guys. And Maggie and I are going to finish Legion tomorrow, wrapping up on that last episode. Dun, dun, dun. I'm super bummed that show's over.
Well, I mean, there's another season.
Coming, yeah.
I don't know when.
But exactly, yeah. I was about to say, I don't think they know when. Hopefully, I think it's supposed to just be next year like a regular show. Because I know Westworld, they're like, yeah, then going to be another season, but not for like 3 years probably.
Yeah, I don't think it's anything like that. Well, I think just the undertaking of filming and doing Westworld is just an enormous thing. Like, it takes them forever. So for them to be like, all right, it's going to be like 20 months before we can finish doing a whole other season of this because this shit is bananas. And HBO's like, all right.
Is bananas. B-A-N-A-N-A-S.
Yes.
And with that, guys, we will leave you. Thank you all so much for listening. See you in 2 weeks with the finale episode. Toodaloo, motherfuckers.
That was an Unspoiled Network podcast.